One thing is to have a template. Another thing is to have it customized into your personal requirements. Large enterprises typically have multiple office locations, jurisdictions, languages, and sometimes even sub-brands to govern. So this could add up to thousands of unique versions of the same template. So either you have to maintain all of these unique versions, or you can automate it so that every time any employees build any business documents, it dynamically pulls in the information relevant for that individual user and personalizes the document for them. And that's essentially what Dynamics is all about. And if you need to write a document on behalf of another person, we can make sure that you have access to other people's user profiles as well. So what we wanted to achieve was to help large enterprises automate compliance in all of the thousands of documents that are being produced by employees every day. And for users, we wanted the process of being compliant when they produce business documents to be the easiest choice. So here at Templafy, we work with a lot of enterprises across the world, and every single one of them have invested very heavily in their brand. They've set up strong pools of collateral that users are supposed to use, also guidelines for how to use it. But at the same time, on the user end, they're struggling with finding the latest versions of these templates or digital assets because they tend to float around in all sorts of places in the organization. So essentially, what we wanted to achieve with Library was to bridge those two worlds to make sure that the users have direct access right where they're working. It's a one-stop shop for employees to easily find the latest templates, the latest digital assets, and everything they need to build documents on brand fast. It's no longer an IT task to deploy updates to business templates or digital assets. It's now something that can be done by brand and compliance teams in real time whenever needed. So we meet a lot of enterprises that have really strong templates. The challenge they still face is that they need to produce the documents around these templates. But the template is just part of the way of building the finalized document or presentation. Where a lot of the time is wasted is actually putting together these documents, because you need to find where the correct standards are and assemble these documents in a manual way. Essentially, that's why we created Builder. So what Builder does is that it helps users automatically assemble business documents or presentations by constantly displaying relevant content that you're allowed to use and makes sense for the presentation or document that you're doing. So what we hear from employees is that they really love it because it takes off a lot of the time that they typically need to spend on documents. And for the businesses, they really like the fact that still, every time anyone produces anything, it's compliant with the most recent standards of the company. Every day, employees reuse documents and presentations from their desktops. Unfortunately, very often there is a gap between the brand and the content inside of those documents compared to what is the latest templates and digital assets released by the business. And that's why we created Brand Checker. Brand Checker taps into the existing behavior of the user. So we allow the user to reopen documents and presentations from his or her desktop. But if there is a difference between what's inside of that document compared to the latest release, we help the user back on track in a few simple steps. So Brand Checker helps enterprises police the brand, even in documents that were created in the past. And for the user, it's essentially the spell checker for branding.